What do you feel they're trying to say to you when they say entitled, lazy, doesn't want to work, doesn't know how to communicate, stays, you're right, Brenda, stays online all the time? Nathan?
I feel like we're more focused on like the internet, like the social part of the internet, than like face-to-face communication.
Face-to-face communication. Okay, now here's what I would say to that. What kind of world do you think that you guys are going to be living in the future? What kind of world do they think that you're going to be living in the future? This is what trips me out when my wife says, Samuel's been on his iPad too long. That's my son's name, Samuel. Nora needs to get some activity. She's been looking at screens all day. It's not right. She doesn't talk like that at all. I don't know where that came from. She's like the exact opposite of that. But like, wait a minute. Okay, so they're on screens. What kind of world do you fucking think you're going to be living in 20, 30 years from now? I'm not going to be talking to you face to face. I'm going to use some freaking AR, VR, I'm going to be on Mars, and you're going to be on planet zoomed on. We're going to be looking at screens. Our whole life is going to be looking at screens. Screens are going to dominate us. Now, there's still face-to-face. Of course there's face-to-face. But this is what I mean. So what's the point, Nez? What are you trying to say? I'm trying to say investigate all this shit that they're saying. What are they really trying to say? Does it have any validity? Is it my truth, or is this some kind of truth? Just because they're on CNN, just because they're on Fox, or just because they're on ABC or CBS, or just because he's standing in front of class, because somebody thought he was a good enough professor, doesn't mean he knows what he's talking about, or he or she knows what they're talking about. Question it for yourself. Question it for yourself. Critical thinking. Because guess what? Here's the rub, and this is what he's talking about. Has everything to do with your writing. This is what he's talking about. That stuff can kind of, when you hear a lot of it, have you ever heard the saying, even if it's a lie, if it's told enough, long enough, it becomes a truth? If you pay attention to it enough, it will sink in there somehow. And it'll come into your psyche and it'll stick. And if it gets sticky and you didn't properly investigate it, you could be functioning on a complete and utter lie and not even be aware of it. That's why I said the greatest definition of rhetoric is an awareness of the language choices that we make. Awareness. Everything is awareness. Everything is understanding who you are. Everything is not taking things for granted. Everything is having a grateful attitude for where you're at right now, because most of us think about what we're missing, most of us think about the future, most of us think about what happened in the past. Most of the time, that's what we're thinking about. And we're not even aware of it. How many times have you been driving somewhere, you park, you get out of the car, and you go, how in the world did I don't even remember getting here. Have you ever had that vibe before? I don't even remember getting off the freeway. I don't even remember making that left turn. Where were you? Somebody tell me where they were. Ponce, where were you? Where were you when you had that happen?
In my head.
Yeah. This world is a funky, funky, chunky monkey. It's a funky world, man. You get into that, dude. And it can dominate you. It can totally dominate you. If you're passively listening to the thought leaders, if you're passively listening to CNN, Fox, Washington Post, New York Times, Los Angeles Times, your parents, so-called adults, if you're just listening to them passively, then you're going to take whatever they're selling and you're going to accept it, nod your head, and ask for seconds. That is not exercising your right as a human being to decide your own fate, what you want to do for the rest of your life. I'm not saying like live in a paranoid state of mind, like I don't trust anybody. What I'm saying is trust yourself first. That's all I'm saying. Of course, people like to paint this picture that everybody's out for you and everybody's, we're in a divided country. Everybody's divided, man. Like, I don't know, they're over there and I'm over here. Let's all kill each other, go get the guns. It's not even close to like that. Here's another FACT that I want you to really dive deep into. The news only covers 2% of the population. All the killers, the fuckers, the rapers, the murderers, the child molesters, 2% of the population, 2%. The other 98% of us, which is where the phrase comes from, most people are good people, which is absolutely true, and the statistics prove this year after year. We actually are progressing as a society. You can look all this stuff up at the Harvard neuroscientist Steven Pinker did a whole study on this. Murder rates are dropping, homicide rates are dropping, even though we see mass shootings on TV, even though we see all this shit on TV, everything is dropping. Crime, theft, robbery, everything is dropping over the last 30 years. We're actually living in the best times of all time. News won't show you that. Why? Peter, why won't the news show you that? Riley, right?
Yes.
Riley, why won't the news show you that?
They
Peter, you should know this by now.
They want you to be scared
Why do they want you to be scared?
so that you don't try to, I don't know, change things.
That's really interesting. Because you won't try to change things. Somebody else, tell me, why do they, David, why do they, Nico, I want to hear from you. Nico, why do they only show the quote-unquote shit of society, the 2%?
It's a lot more interesting to watch that than to watch normal people doing routine things.
You were on the right path. But what Nico just said hit the nail on the head. You have to think about, again, what does this have to do with your writing? Everything. Think about, when? Think about your audience. Put yourself in their brain. Put your eyeballs in their head. See the world through their eyes, and you'll understand where they're coming from. Think about it. How many people are going to watch a story about a beautiful family hanging out at the park and playing nicely? I don't give a fuck. Why is it every time the freeway goes like this, it goes like at a snail's pace, you finally find out there's some fucking gnarly accident that everybody's stopping to look at? What are you hoping to see? Samantha, what do you want to see? Why do we all stop? Here I am, I'm the jerk saying these guys are morons, and what do? Well, fuck, I have to check this out. I stop traffic too. Nico said it best. It gets ratings. It gets interest. It gets attention. Uh-oh. It gets the dollar bills. Because how do these companies make money? By selling? Anybody? Say that again? Dealership?
Viewership.
Well, no. How do you get the viewers is by putting on an interesting program. But who pays for all of these programs? How many times have you watched a football game and they said, brought to you by Nabisco, brought to you by Target, sponsored by Pepsi? It's the same thing with YouTubers. How do you think YouTubers make money? YouTubers make money by having ads because YouTube's a free platform. I coach and brands very interesting YouTubers and known YouTubers who make $100,000 a month just on their YouTube channel. You know how they do that? Because you watch, eyeballs watch, interesting show, Casey Neistat, he runs ads, you see those ads. So if he has 10 million subscribers, guess what? That's more than most major broadcast networks have. I mean, he's got 10 million, 15 million subscribers. That's a lot of eyeballs. So advertisers go, ooh, I've got a new soft drink coming out. I got to get in front of those eyeballs, so I'm going to pay this dude. I'll pay you $10,000, put my ad in front of your video. You see that? That's how it works. So the advertisers are really in control. So they get to decide where they put their money because they want to know where the attention is. And if they see Channel 5 is only doing happy-go-lucky stories, you know? So what's the point of all this? Understand that the world is not a scary place. The world is not a fearful place. We're not living in a world filled with hate and division and killers and murders and rapers. Yes, of course those people exist. It's this big, the percentage. It's like, why would I focus on this little thing right here, this part of the room? I focus on this part of the room, this little piece of toilet paper, versus this whole sea of good people, nice people, cool projector, cool laptop, cool water, cool phone, cool... Why would I focus on this little piece of shit right here? Does that make sense? It's only the bottom 2% of the population. We're not living in crazy times. When they tell you that you're entitled, when they tell you that you don't want to work, when they tell you all this and that, do you just nod your head and accept it? When a professor tells you this is important, that communication is important, that if you want this to get fatter, you need to learn how to use this dude right here, you need to learn how to use this dude right here, you need to learn how to use this dude right here, do you believe him or do you actually test him? Does any of this make sense? I don't want you, I'm the only professor, David, on the planet that'll ever say this. Maya, I want you to think I'm full of shit. Alex, I want you to think I'm full of shit. Michelle, I want you to think I'm full of shit. Brian, I want you to think I'm full of shit. Why would I say that? Pierce, why would I say I want you to think I'm full of shit? Give me one professor on the fucking place. It's not to sound cool. I know what you're thinking. Oh, he just wants to sound cool. Exactly. Do I fucking look cool, dude? There's nothing cool about a dude who wears fucking polo shirts and fucking, rants and raves. There's nothing cool about that. There's nothing cool about that. Why do I say it? I mean, let's be real here. Why do I say it, Derek? Why do I say I want you to think I'm full of shit?
So we can think for ourselves.
Verify it for yourself. Find out in the real world. Nez says this is important. Economics professor says this is important. Biology teacher says this is important. Math teacher, get it? Parents, get it? Politicians, get it? The guy who looks like he knows what he's talking about on CNN, get it? Investigate for yourself. That's your power. That's your sovereignty. That's your true currency, is knowing who you are and making decisions for yourself. Using your creativity, using your imagination, using your critical thinking skills. It's everything. All of these projects are all about looking into yourself. All of these projects are all about turning your eyeballs inside out and taking a look inside. Not always looking at Instagram, not always looking at, Vanity Fair, not always looking outside. Who's cool, who's hot, who's not, who's yacht. Look inside your inner game, not your outer game. Everybody here in Southern California is absolutely gorgeous. What about your inner game? What about your inner game? The only game that matters. The only game that matters. Trust me on this. Well, actually, no, I don't want you to trust me on this. I want you to completely think I'm full of shit. You'll never, ever, I dare you to find another professor on planet Earth who tells his students, I want you to not believe me. Go find out for yourself. Go verify it for yourself. Go investigate for yourself. So then it's real. Then it plants roots in your chest. It becomes real experiential knowledge. Not just something I learned in a textbook that goes like this. In one ear and out the other. Because I know you guys don't remember shit. I don't remember shit. I have 3 degrees, Pierce. 3 degrees. I don't remember anything. I've paid hundreds of thousands of dollars. Master degree this, double dual master here, bachelor here, associates here, certificate here. Why don't I remember shit? I don't want this class to be like that. It's the last class I want to be like that. How many of us, and let's just be completely honest, how many of us, Derek, I know you do this.
Yeah.
How many of us, we're constantly thinking, oh man, I wish I had this, I wish I had that, I wish this could happen, I wish that could happen, I wish, sometimes it's just not enough. How many people feel that vibe? Please be honest. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Alex. T, how you doing? Are you here today?
Yep.
I mean, you might physically be here, but are you here today?
Yeah.
Okay, good. One of the greatest gifts you have, I'm not even kidding you right now, I shit you not. Brian, you ready for this? Amy, you ready for this? There's 2 things that can never live in the same breath. Gratitude and stress. When you're stressed out, you're not grateful. When you're grateful, you're not stressed out. And let me just let you in on a little tip. There's always something to be grateful for. Even the fact that you've got these 2 dudes right here. You've got legs. You can do this. You should be eternally grateful. Because like my man Jeff, who is a good friend of mine, lost both of his legs in Afghanistan. Every time I call up Jeff and I say, yo Jeff, do you want to meet up, grab some lunch or get some coffee? He's got to think of a million things before he says yes. If I told Brian, yo, Brian, meet me for coffee, Brian would be like, fuck, I'll be there in 10 minutes, cool, chill. Jeff has to think about transportation. Jeff has to think about entrances. Jeff has to think about parking. Jeff has to think about curbs, ramps. How he's going to get up there, his assistants. Is anybody going to assist him? I mean, it's just to meet me for coffee. When you're grateful for what you have, you will not stress out. It's the ultimate remedy to depression, anxiety, and stress. Look at the things you have, not always the things you don't have. And maybe even death can't touch you. Maybe even death can't touch you when you're grateful for the things you have. The fact that you have lungs in your chest that can breathe air. Do you know how many people I know visiting the VA hospital, they have to breathe with the help of a machine? Because some asshole ran a red light being drunk in a Ford F-150. And now they have to have a machine help them breathe the rest of their life. They have to walk around looking like some alien. There's always something to be grateful for. When these two cannot coexist, gratitude and stress, they can never live in the same breath. When you're grateful, you're not stressed out. When you're stressed out, you're thinking about want. You're thinking about need. You're thinking about what's going to happen. You're thinking about, oh my God, what if this doesn't happen? What if this doesn't? Be grateful for what you have. Watch what happens. Express it. This is not a bumper sticker. This is not an Instagram meme. Really true gratitude. Really true gratefulness. There's nothing better than that remedy. And that's kind of what he's doing right now. He's coming to terms with this thing that is inevitable. I mean, it's interesting to talk about. I don't want to scare you guys. I don't want to depress you guys. But it could happen at any moment. We could be gone at any moment. There is not 1 second promised to us. As soon as you're born in this world, you're old enough to leave it. We're not promised 1 second. We're not guaranteed 1 second. Every second is a gift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, gift, 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 gift. And what are we doing? Fuck, I wish this. Fuck, I wish that. Fuck, I hate my Wi-Fi. Why isn't she getting back to me on Snapchat? Why do I have to take this stupid English class with this crazy professor just talk shit every day? Gift, 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 gift. Those are all gifts just being handed to you. What are you going to do with that? What are you really truly spending your time on? What are you really stressing about? Remember how I said don't believe a word I say, investigate everything? This is all about self-investigation too, self-actualization. Looking at yourself, what am I really paying attention to? Does it really matter if that person gave me a dirty look? Does it really matter if these people are talking shit on me or judging me and like it's a cliquey group of girls who are laughing at me or what have you? What are you really focusing on? What are you really paying attention to? Does it matter in the grand scheme of things? Because any second, we could be gone. That's really important to think about.